Everybody get your drinks ready, get your popcorn ready. I have this rant building in me for 3 days now. The Philadelphia Eagles, my Philadelphia Eagles. Let me see. I'm squinting my eyes at the screen right now. Oh, they won? Wait a second. Oh, they won big? Oh, they won by almost 2 touchdowns. Much like the Ravens played the Steelers. Oh, that's weird. 22-10, the Eagles win. But wait a second. They won in a blowout, much like these other teams, Casino. Then why is the coverage of this team being talked about as if they lost? I mean, Jordan Love must have had a great game, right? Oh, 20 for 33, 212 yards,
I'm gonna
three
get some water.
receptions.
I'll be right back.
It's so interesting how you have people who cover this sports for a living, and for some reason the quarterback for the Packers has a good half. I don't know, has a good game and a half in the playoffs last year. And yet, a guy who outplayed what some are calling the best quarterback in NFL history in Patrick Mahomes, or you can put him second or third. He's top 5 all time. He gets outplayed by an Eagles quarterback in the Super Bowl. If the Eagles defense could literally be within 5 yards of a defender, they win that game. That game being the Super Bowl. And yet everyone always has question marks about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts can literally do nothing without just it being questioned. His game, 13 for 21, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 carries, 36 yards, being more criticized in a victory than Justin Herbert, who threw 4 interceptions, by Jordan Love, who threw 3 interceptions. At least with Justin Herbert, he threw a touchdown. Jordan Love is throwing up moon balls to God knows who in triple coverage, and it's getting picked off. And the
He's throwing
announcer,
them. He's throwing them to God. He's throwing them
yeah,
up into. He's throwing moon balls up to God.
and the announcers and everything after that is just like, oh, well, they were in. I mean, they got a lot of injuries on that team. Oh, funny how that works, because when it was Eagles Commanders and every Eagles player, including their quarterback, was dropping left and right, then it's like, well, don't use injuries as an excuse. Don't use injuries as an excuse. When it's, the 49ers get Brock Purdy knocked out of the game, it's like, well, I mean, what are they supposed to do? He got knocked out of the game. But when it's Commanders Eagles, and then it's like, why does it matter? The quarterback got knocked out of the game. He's not their whole team.
You got the
So
best defense in the league.
yeah. So the Packers, last time I checked, had a top 5 defense. So let's see. Jalen Hurts, again, 13 for 21, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, over 100 quarterback passer rating. So do you rather, you football nerds out there, would you rather have Herbert and his great arm, and oh my God, he's so fun to watch? Would you rather have him in the playoffs throwing 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, or Jalen Hurts outplaying Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl in the postseason? Which one would you rather have? Because last I checked, when it's on TV and it's dorks like Chase Daniels or Dan Orlovsky or Ryan Fitzpatrick, aka quarterbacks who in this league have never done a fraction of what Jalen Hurts has already done in their entire careers, are saying, I mean, I have question marks about this guy. What are they doing? And then guys on TV named, oh, I don't know, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning are praising the game Jalen Hurts plays. I don't know who you're going to listen to. The career backup dorks on the left-hand side, or on the right-hand side, the 2 best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Who should we listen to? Who should we listen to, Casino? I don't know. But then in this game, again, defense plays lights out. Saquon Barkley goes for 119 yards. He breaks off a potential 70-yard touchdown at the end, where he slides down immediately, and then he goes to the sideline, and the team's like, why'd you slide down? You could have just got a touchdown and all that stuff. And Saquon Barkley just goes, why do I care? Like, I don't care about that. I just want to get the victory.
Yeah,
And
and
then
that's huge. Just like going off that, cut you off. That's huge moment, though. I want to talk about that. A huge moment for him to do that, because then that just solidifies that yes, you wanted to get the record, but in reality, he wants to do what's best for the team. He wants to win. You've talked about it. He hasn't won. He wants to win. He has never won. Like you said, the collegiate, and then the pros, he wants to win. He finally wants to be on a winning team. So he's going to do what it takes. Continue your rant.
No, that was the end of my rant. But then also, like, I think the really like that was one of the three things in this game where I was just like, oh, I think legitimately where everybody is coming into this game and just looking at again, it's funny that the narrative before this game that you and I both talked about, everybody talked about was Hertz hasn't played for almost a month. He's had a concussion. He's been out. He's going to look rusty. So then he comes into this game, looks rusty, still plays a pretty good, pretty great game if you look at, quarterback rating and touchdown interceptions, no turnovers. And then after the game, it's like all the talking points are what's wrong with the Eagles offense? And then it's like everybody knew that when you sit out for a month, there's discussions being had. Should you sit your team out for a week if it gives you a
Yeah.
disadvantage into the playoffs? This guy hasn't played football in a month because he got knocked out by an illegal hit. So then again, that's just stupid people trying to make content, right? Like that's all that is. But then in this game, Saquon Barkley gets thrown to the ground on a late whistle and there's a flag and all this stuff. Jalen Hurts immediately runs up to the lineman who did it, gets in his face, and there's a picture of 6'1, 6'2 Jalen Hurts getting in the face of a defensive lineman who's like 6'9, 400 pounds, and just like talking shit to him because he just threw his running back down. It's like that. It's the Dallas Goedert touchdown where he's on the sidelines making fun of the guy because he stiff armed him in the face
Three
three
times.
times. And the
That
third time,
was
he's
great.
telling people on the sidelines he didn't need to stiff arm him, but he slowed down so he could stiff arm him in the face again. Like, again, you take all the logos off this Eagles team and you don't say they're Eagles, you don't say their names. You watch them play. This is an insanely likable team that is just getting insanely disrespected for no reason just because they're the
It's because
Eagles.
of the
Right?
fans.
Yeah.
It's because of the fans. It's because Philly fans suck. I mean,
Yeah.
I tell you how much I hate you all the time. I can't stand you,
But
but
also, we're annoying because of the way our team is talked about compared to other teams.
oh yeah,
You look at every other team on this list, and it's like Texans blow out the Chargers. Haven't heard one negative thing about the Texans. Ravens blow out the Steelers. Haven't heard one negative thing about the Steelers. Same with the Bills. Same with the Rams. The Eagles also blow out their opponent that before the game, everybody was picking the Packers upset the Eagles. I have not heard
I didn't.
one.
I didn't. I just said that I heard
That's
the
true.
talk. I heard the talk.
But I've like gone through the sports shows talking about this game. I've not heard one positive thing about this Eagles team. And
Hey,
it's just
hey,
like,
hey, 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 hey,
did they win the game?
hey.
I think they did.
Eagles look great. Okay.
I think again,
There's your
they're the
positive thing.
top
There's your positive thing.
defense
Eagles look
in the
great. Eagles look
playoffs.
great. Eagles look great.
It's fucking drives me
Eagles look great.
crazy.
Eagles look great.
Oh, I've had that rant to me for 3 days.
I know.
But now we can talk about the game itself, Casino.
I have nothing to say. Nothing more to add.
Well, actually, let's move on to the Packers. As I just talked about, in a less than flattering light, Jordan Love, after last year, when this Packers team upset the Cowboys and then were within a field goal of tying potentially to go to overtime against the 49ers. After that, Jordan Love got a record contract, the most money a quarterback in the NFL has ever been paid.
Way too
So
much. We talked about it.
I mean, we talked about it on this show when it happened that was insane. Now, in retrospect, and after the season he's had and this playoff performance, thoughts on just him as a quarterback and that contract as a whole?
Contract is still dumb. It's still way too much money for too many years.
If he won this game with 3 touchdowns, 0 interception, that's still a dumb contract.
I totally agree. But I mean, is he their quarterback? Can he continue to be successful for this team? Yes, but you know what? He might be like the Mike Tomlin of quarterbacks. You know, he might be able to just be good enough to always be in the playoffs, be right there around the bubble if they're not in the playoffs. But he's not going to win you a Super Bowl. I can't see him winning you a Super Bowl. I just can't. The rest of that team, I really like. Josh Jacobs is really good. I like that defense a lot. And even with that, like talking about that, that defense still held the Eagles to 22 points. Like
Yeah.
that's a young defense doing good things again, not great things, but good things against a great offense. So they have potential everywhere, but I just don't think Jordan Love is your guy. He's too injury prone. He's made of glass, so that's very risky. And yeah, I'm not for it. I'm not for Jordan Love. Is he a good quarterback? Sure. Is he a quarterback that can win you a Super Bowl? No, I don't think so.
No, and especially, I mean, you look at this team, Eagles have number 1 total defense in the league. Packers have number 5. So they're the 5th best defense in the league. And their offense, again, taking out the fan aspect of me being an Eagles fan, that was a rough game going in if you're a Packers fan because you lose Jordan Reed before the game in last week's game.
Yeah, they
And
were
then
down a lot of players.
well, they were already thin at wide receiver, and then it felt like throughout this game, both teams kind of were just suffering like weird fluke injuries. The Packers, I mean, they lose an offensive line halfway or an offensive lineman halfway through the game. His replacement comes in. The first 3 plays after that are all holding calls on that lineman.
Yeah.
So the Packers defense was great. I think their defense played great all season. I've really liked the Packers defense. I think for next year, if they keep this core of young guys together, they can again be a top 5
Yeah.
defense. But
And
the
and then
offense, again, they just didn't have depth.
yeah, they were down their top they were down one of their top 3 receivers there, and then they got their next 2 receivers were also injured. So their top 3 receivers are done for the game. And then you have Josh Jacobs who also got banged up late in the game. Like that was tough. And to start off, like credit to them to continue to still fight after the way the game started, where uh the Eagles player popped it on out and right off the kickoff. So you know what? Give him credit though. I do. I'm not going to give Jordan Love a lot of credit, but the team as a whole, that fight
Yeah.
was there for that team, and especially on the defensive side. Um, they kept that team in the game, and who knows? Like this could have been an upset if they still had their 3 top wide receivers and Jacobs wasn't hurt late in the game. I mean, he still played well. He almost had 100 yards. But Jordan Love throwing 3 interceptions against that Eagles defense. That's a great defense. They're going to make you pay if you do anything stupid, and they did. So great game by the Eagles, and just wasn't there for the Packers this year.
Yeah, and then you look at the penalties in this game. I mean, there was 15 combined penalties. Green Bay had 8, Philadelphia had 7. A really poor officiated game. Some of the calls in this game were absolutely abysmal. I've seen after this game where it was like, oh, the opening kickoff should have been called helmet to helmet and all that kind of stuff. The Eagles guy was already doing his tackle where the Packers guy went put his head down to like protect the ball, and that's what caused helmet to helmet. It wasn't the Eagles guy launching at the Packers guy.
Yeah, where he's
So
already not where he doesn't see where the
yeah,
guy is. He already has his head down.
because the whole thing with the head to helmet is it's like a defenseless guy in a position where he can't protect himself. That was not what this was. So, whew.